Today on One Man Garage, we're enjoying a cold snack and assembling the A-frame that got disassembled Monday on that little reel. Of course, a week ago I had to buy a Napa fine thread 1/2-inch tap to fix the steering wheel shaft for the nut inside, and here it is a week later. I needed to, there's some slightly boogered threads here, 5/8 fine thread to get the nut started. One was stripping when I went to tighten it, but it was the nut, and I used my spare A-frames to cores and got another nut. But I got the bushings smushed in, and now I just need to chase the thread, so now I got that tap. But can't go wrong getting tools that work on all the old cars you have. Much effort, and I had to bevel the tip with the angle grinder to get it to ever start and use the impact, trying to keep it square and push, and I finally got some threads cut started, and the good nut will screw on now, so I think we're home free. That's worthy of a break, I'd say. So I gotta snug up these upper bolts. I left the end nuts loose enough to where this shaft will rotate fairly freely. Then we'll do a little bit of torque after it's all pulled together and greased. Then we can work on the tie rod end, because I bought some more Moog and got the ES314RL outer tie rod end. We'll start on that next. Once all that's done in grease, I guess I ought to try to grease other places I probably never greased that I forgot about. But we'll work on back to the sway bar bushings of the rusty bolts. Well, anyway, that upper part's there, but to facilitate the pivot of trying to get that in place, I'm going to mess with the jack and maybe go ahead and disconnect the idler arm. We'll see. Yep, got the ball joint reconnected and torqued all the way in, cotter pinned. Reused the old new one, and those are expensive. And if it didn't have slop, it was still tight and good. So I'm gonna go get the grease gun. Greased her up till she puked a little out, so that means we're good. Alright, well, I got some grease on the inner tie rod end and the center link pitman arm connection, and the lower ball joint. Now I know it probably sounds bad when I say it out loud, but I might have forgot to ever even grease these when I resurrected this car about 7 years ago, after it sat up for about 30, and just started drag racing it. I mean, it stopped and it went and it turned. It had a tail light. Nobody died. Ran some 11-second quarter miles and 7.4s in the 1/8 mile, but it's better now and getting better. So for some reason I can't find my pickle fork, and I smacked on this thing on the nut to knock the old idler arm end down, but it's stuck. Now that's already soaked it in PB blast, whatever. So we're just going to use the heat, and we're going to expand the steering arm link. We're going to make it happen. It's not wrong if it works. Well, that has been cooking a while, about a few minutes, not long. Been watching Dirt Every Day with old Fred Williams, one of my favorite fellers, and Dirthead Dave Chappelle. They're great. Separate from normal roadkill and Vice Grip Garage, etc. Wow, that is really on there. Guess I still need my pickle fork. Don't mind that. Because I figured I could hammer on it because we're not using it again. Wow. I found my pickle fork. I had placed it over in front of my yellow Oldsmobile so nobody would find it because we're not working on that. And I don't know why it's over there, but I do have to separate the front end, the old front end on that car, because we're going to be putting it together soon too. Well, that's separated easy. I guess, you know, you use the tool that you're supposed to use, which I normally use. It still works. Of course, I've messed up the nut now, so there's that. I got a vice grip time. Well, for my dumb butt for beating on it with a nut on it, and I should have just left it off because I knew it was all trash. Even with vice grips, it's still spinning, so I've just created myself a little more work. That's fine. That's fine. Well, thankfully, due to me wasting my time trying to cut that receiver hitch off that incorrect ram hitch I bought, and since just bought the right hitch and put it on, I had extra cutoff wheels. So we're just gonna slice and dice. Yeah. Maybe you can watch. That's like the only thing that happened quick here in a while. Come on out, buddy. Don't be like that. Now you're gonna say, oh look, the bottom's too wedged out to lift it out the top. Maybe I have to whittle on the bottom. Damn it. Quick turns into long. Looks like I gotta cut it from the top. Idiot. I think I did pretty good. I cut it off without grinding the whole top of the arm off. But that little piece just went dink. I pushed it with a wrench. So we're clear. Yay, yay. I still gotta unscrew this old ass piece of junk and count the thread turns. We're gonna let that work and go inside and watch some YouTube and maybe have an old fashioned. Well, we're cooking with gas now. Guess I'll see if I can rotate this with some vice grips. I'll be damned. It turned easy. I guess I need to go start counting the turns. Recording, I guess. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. $28, $29, $30, $31, $31, and she's off. Now I can put the new comparing. Oh. Seems to be the same length. We'll go with that. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. $31. Yep. Back in my day, we learned how to count in school instead of learning how to change our genders. Well, we don't have to get into all that, but you kind of know where I'm going. Got to put the old grease fitting on. Come on now. I didn't even say put some hair on it and you'll find it, but whatever. Anyways, might be a little too advanced for some of y'all. I'll have to retorque the sleeves. They were all loose. Better to have a little too much toe in than not enough, because then it will wander all over the place. So, you know, maybe eventually this car will get aligned. We'll see what happens. So we're going to, before we tighten the sleeves, we're just going to torque the tie rod end nut solid. Maybe one more torquage. Maybe one more torquage. Yeah, that's probably it. I know there's a new cutter pin. I don't see it. Anyway, I'm going to snug up the sleeves and get the cutter pin. Greasing tie rod end. Still need cotter pin. Using lots of grease or air. Waiting for a sign. Come on. Come on. Come on. Okay. Move the jack. Found the new cotter pin. Pinned. Whatever, it's good. No more up, Chuck. And now I gotta wash my hands. Don't forget to torquelate your sleeves. Low torque setting. Mission accomplished. Probably won't mess with sway bar bushings till tomorrow, Saturday morning. Because, you know, I mean, I get up at like 4 or 5 in the morning every day, get kind of tired. So, roll over to Saturday. Well, howdy, folks. It's Saturday morning. It's cold and windy. Cold front came in after the rain. So it's 30-something this morning. Got 3 shirts on. But I'm going to work on the sway bar bushings. Keep going. Got to make progress. Racing season's coming real soon. But anyways. So yeah, luckily I can get the 9/16 socket for the top of the bolt. I just got to get these nuts off the bottom. I soaked it. Can use the impact on one. We have to use box end wrench on the other one because I have lower control arms in the way. Nothing too complicated. Milwaukee had to work pretty hard to get those out. I sprayed them down, but maybe I'll do new hardware. We'll see. Fella just stopped by to sell tamales out of the van. Very nice little family, just trying to make it. But I don't ever have cash on me. Anyway, it's kind of satisfying when you can hold the ratchet and ratchet with the box end wrench or the top. Makes good progress. Curious if I could go without taking this all the way off, but I kind of want to put new bolts, maybe. I think I got new bolts. Because, man, these take a beating by the time you get them off. Pretty sure they've never been off since the car was built. That was like 62 years ago. Is that right? It's getting pretty tight. All the gum. I soaked it too. Give me a good left-handed workout. I'm right-handed, so probably good to do this with my left. Anyway, nothing to see here. Yeah, I've been wanting to chain these for a while. It just hadn't been a priority, but it'll actually be less friction, make the front end go up even easier with the new, some kind of blue polyurethane Mevotech bushings. I think I bought it at Rock Auto years ago, and I'll probably put a little grease, you know, where the bar pivots. Sway bars are a good thing. Keep on your drag car. It'll keep the front end level on the launch, and you can grease those hard bushings so they work when the car's, you know, turning. If some evasive maneuver, you need it. But when you're going straight, they just glide straight up and down. It doesn't keep the front end from coming up. That's just a myth. I don't know. I think I wasted money buying these these little things. I mean, this thing is perfectly good, obviously. Yeah, gross. Of course, does that even fit in there? Probably not. Might have to get some different brackets. Oh, good. We'll just, I don't know, maybe we'll hammer on that. Well, I had some new 3/8/16 hardware. Might have to extend the bracket to hang down lower for that bushing to fit in that bracket. And I greased this up, so I'm sliding it up in position. So that is there. That is good. We'll see where this goes. Not ideal, but I'm gonna bang that up in place. I needed something to use for a punch. I've got this tie rod in, so I'm thinking we'll just see how the gaps line up with my spacer nuts. We'll see how this goes. Well, anyway, back to jankiness, but I got this washer piece that is right about right where it's going to squish the bushing against the sway bar when it tightens up. So let's see how it goes. And the cat's watching too. Hey, Goose. Probably just hand tighten that with a wrench. Well, it's cinched up and has good functional tension. We'll wait and see how it goes. Of course, you could loosen the nuts up quickly at the track if you wanted with just one wrench, since it's torqued on a nut to the frame, say. So, but I may just have to go get the right brackets because this is going to bug me. But whatever, for now. We'll get, once it's on the ground, we'll push it up and down and see how it feels. And once it's running, we'll hop it around the driveway, but I may still get the right brackets later. I don't know yet. Well, now we're going to rip down the passenger side, and then hopefully we'll get some anti-seize and do some header bolts after that. Gonna get those all snugged up, both sides. But I got those bolts out, and also reminded that I have a crack on both sides where the cross member for the lower control arm welds goes to the frame. I kind of need to get somebody to weld that for me with a good welder. Well, it was just as brand new as the other side. We'll go ahead and use the blue one. Greased up and thick washer shim. I'll go find 2 more bolts. Well, it's on there with my kind of temporary rig. I can see some compression on that bushing. It's probably more than I like, so I'm pretty sure I'll be changing this up later. But it's still an upgrade right now. I did get the outer and inner tie rod ends and pitman arm greased. Got the upper grease. Bottom one, lower ball joint, I don't think it accepted grease, so maybe not on that one. And there is wear on the pitman arm, which is this. It's only supposed to turn. It shouldn't chuck up and down. So when I change directions right here, see, it goes up and down, that means your pitman arm's bad. And that's typical. Actually, sorry, idler arm. Pitman arm's driver's side, that's what's on the gearbox. My bad, I'll put a message in that text. Anyway, idler arm, passenger side, idler arm. It's going up and down, see? Idler arm needs replaced. So put that on the list. Went to the local hardware lumber home improvement store, got this Versachem anti-seize copper, high temp copper 2000 degree anti-seize for the bolts. For the headers, I got just one left to start. All the rest are started with the lube. Then we'll cinch her up. You want to always use anti-seize when you're going into aluminum cylinder head, but also when you mix 2 kinds of metals, because by nature 2 kinds of metals, it's not a problem on an iron and steel bolt iron head because it's steel, but when you're going into aluminum or you're doing stainless steel bolts against carbon steel or aluminum with either steel, it makes for some kind of chemical, electronic, whatever. Use anti-seize. Just do it. Well, those are all torqued up and certainly better than last time, because last time I had pinched the dipstick tube between the head and the top of the header flange inadvertently. Normally that didn't happen. I think the aluminum head wasn't clearance in the same spot because they make a slot in the flange to clear it, but the head was, I guess, didn't have room on that other side, so I think it was leaking pretty bad in the middle ports from that. So whatever, we're past that. It's basically just torqued the driver's side down. Some of them had backed off back when we had to pull that cylinder head off and find the water leak, and fixed it, hydro tested it and everything, and put it back on. But I've got a spot here where the back corner of this inner tie rod end rubs the header when I steer. So I'm going to try to grind that little area right here because it hits this part right there, rubs the header when I turn. So I'm thinking about putting a little tap of the grinder on that. Maybe catch a little bit of this clearance action on grinder cam. Just actually just about did it. I think it's just, is it even touching? It just needs a little more. A little bit more to the top. Oh, she unplugged on me. The cord is at the end of its line. Like Bucky and Cap. Alright, let me go a little lower. This is a 68 Firebird, not a 63 Catalina. And this was the only tight spot besides, well, there was a frame deal on tube number 1. Passenger side fits very well. I guess technically needs a little more. Still a little rub edge. I think that's good enough. That'll work. I did not take very much metal off, so this thing's not gonna go flying apart on me. Even gave a little love tap. You can see it's got clearance now. I think I can button up and torque this side, but we gotta leave the other wheel off because I gotta get the wiring going on that solenoid relocation. next on the agenda, I got to pull that off, and I'm going to mount it up high up here, redo the wiring, and have a short straight run of battery cable in the vicinity of the old wiper motor area. But I need to go inside and check on my smoked leftover pork steak, black bean and onion chili I'm making. I'm going to say that is ready to go. Smoked pork steak, diced, lots of stuff. Can't be bad, made out of good. Alright, so I'm gonna finally get that solenoid off. See if I can do this gracefully. Maybe. Sucks is I can't quite get on that one. Rats. Get another tool for that. I got the solenoid off, and that was it for Saturday. Hey, glorious Sunday afternoon. Pretty day. Lord us giveth today. Well, I guess we'll figure out where to mount my solenoid so I can do my battery cable run, and then we're going to run a bus bar kind of deal and have a power strip that I can run some fused leads off of, because I only have a couple circuits I need. So I thought about just doing those flat fuses all near each other under the hood and, you know, protect the circuits. So believe it or not, this thing was done sketchily in the past by somebody else. Oh no, that was me. Yeah, that's right. I didn't have any fuses on anything. The gist of this car's wiring is basically, when I had the switch battery in the trunk, obviously one side of the solenoid had the hot battery and also had the hot wire here that goes to the one wire alternator, so it would charge. And then on that same pile of wires, I ran some juice inside the car that just switched solenoid trigger wire and ignition on a toggle and off the same power source. And there wasn't much to it, just coming back out to the HEI. So yeah, we're gonna make it better. Yeah, one of the things I want to do on this car is, once we get tail light, one of these switches will be a toggle for tail lights, but I'd like it to activate off a 120 amp fuse the same circuit and split the circuit to run power in and out of the brake switch, so I could have toggle on and have full-time tail lights for the track requirements, but then also juice up the brake pedal side if I want to jam brakes. And then one day, if I'm actually drove this car on the street, I'd at least have tail lights and brake lights that are somewhat connected. But I may or may not use this little screw connector deal, but I still need a common power source connection. So I got to decide what I'm doing. I got so few circuits, I could just fuse the individual circuits, but I didn't really want to stack them all up on the solenoid like it was. But we'll see how it goes. You know, I'm not gonna put this crusty ass nasty thing that's been rained on the car in my personal little auto parts store in the garage. I still had one brand new Blue Streak 581X, which is the copper base good old brand, way better than some of the garbage ones. See, it's got like copper brass construction, your 60s Ford style Steel Me Now solenoid and hardware. That's what we're going to put on, but this still works, so we'll keep it. Maybe I'll put some evaporust on it or something. Save the box so I can periodically scour eBay for NOS auto parts back when the shit was made good. So I went in and stuck the new one there, and I'm going to, instead of having to redo a crimp connection, I'm just going to unbolt the clamp and pull up the slack on that end. It'd be a lot easier, shorten the run and not have to redo a connector like that. Well, I've got the cable shortened and redid the clamp, and I'm going to have this looping down, leaving this loose because I'll be putting another wire on there. Snugged up the output side to go down to the back down the starter and re-zip tied. I don't know if you can see the battery cable. I use that lug on the bell housing, which is perfect to tug the cable away from the exhaust and steering column. So that's works real well down there to use that transmission lug for your zip tie points, because you know you get points for zip ties. Anyway, I started hooking up the shifter down there, but I despise this aftermarket shifter garbage. Over complicated, convoluted, too long of cables binding up, bracketry. It's all inferior to OEM console shifter stuff, and it sucks. I'm not going to use it, so I'm going to have to get my other setup going that I'd like to have. We'll go ahead and put the drive shaft in, though. Got a little surface rust on the old yoke, so I'm going to shoot some PB blast on that. I got the transmission in neutral, so we can get it in there and rotate it, get the E-joint on. The drive shaft is in and torqued up nice. Transmission's in park, so it can be ran to put fluid in it. When we get to that, probably going to redo the too much low-hanging drive shaft loop that got bent back on the trailer years ago. Maybe cut off wheel and trim it up and make it straighter and shorter. Might actually stretch it forward and then redo it. Kind of want to offset it a little bit, a ½ inch to one side, so I may even re-drill the holes and slide it over, get it better centered. But I want to redo that. We're going to go back to the wiring now, though. So this is like an 8 or 10 gauge, I think it's 8 gauge wire, factory thick wire off GM alternator output, butt splice freshed and taped tight here. And this has a 20 amp fuse, but we're going to change that to a bigger fuse. This will be the master power supply for all accessories that will come separate from this source. And this will bolt to the solenoid with the battery cable. That way I only wanted to have one lead off of that. I didn't want to stack them, that's what I'm saying. So reconnected, got cleaned up connection for the direct one wire alternator charging to the bulkhead. It'll go straight to battery power. You don't fuse that because you know, charging battery, you're going to pull current. You know, the fuse line lead is here, which will be source. I may just put two sources of separate 220 amp fuses and do a 40 or 50 here. And then this will be two wires going in here maybe, or a T. I got to see what I end up doing. And then I could have my ignition start circuit and my tail light brake light circuit, and that's about all I need right now. So it's coming along. So I got these two smaller gauge, and so far everything's red on the hot power side. I can't believe it. But anyway, I got a 30 ampere in the main supply, and then these smaller wires are like maybe 14 gauge. I was able to double them up into the yellow butt splice, tape that up, and then these will have individual 20 amp circuits. So if something happens on one circuit, it doesn't blow out the whole enchilada upstairs. They're in the 30 amp range, so one circuit can stay alive if one fails. I basically think this is like dirt simple do-it-yourself race car wiring, because really all you're supposed to have is like tail light, and you're going to want to power your ignition and start functions. You know, so I got HEI, one wire alternator. I mean, there's not much going on here. Now later on down the road we might, you know, we'll see about other stuff, but for now this is way better than it was, because it needed to be improved. Let's just say that. But I'm kind of happy how it's coming along. This is some of the garbage wiring that I'm going to redo that goes inside the car that comes out, that was for the start solenoid and the power to the HEI. Then you got the tack wire going back to the distributor or tachometer, whatever. We're probably call it a wrap for today on One Man Garage. So we're gonna, we'll clean that up, rewire that, and we'll see how it looks. It's happening little by little. Races are coming. Actually, Vintage Drags are next weekend, Saturday, if it doesn't rain, in Little River Dragway near Temple, Texas. Even if I just go watch, they got gassers and stuff, and I've been wanting to take my buddy Jim out there, and we're gonna go hopefully see some gassers and cool stuff, and maybe race the Catalina, maybe catch the next one in the fall. I don't know, but 2 weeks from today is my first race of the season, so I'd like to have this out there. That's the goal. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, share, like, watch all my videos, especially long ones. Something there for you. Just go dig through it all. There's like 460. Just watch half of them, that's fine. Thank you.